Welcome back. In our last episode, Darren introduced this concept of algorithm. What are the things that you pay attention to? What are the things you're noticing that are in your feed? Because that can really impact the way we see the world. And it comes back to that quote we had some time ago, Darren, which I loved, which was in the store in Calgary, which is when you change the way you see the world you see changes, right? So how can we use this, Darren, this idea of our algorithm to elevate us?
Fantastic question, right? And that is, I think the main thing why it's so important is it's not just the skills we develop or the goals we achieve, it's who we are becoming, right? And that's really what makes someone an outstanding leader or have an outstanding person in life is who they are becoming. And so what we focus on is who we become more like as we go. And so if we're doom scrolling all the time, what does our mood tend to be like? If we are really judgmental with ourselves, we tend to be judgmental with other people, right? And so what we want to do is curate an algorithm in terms of things we focus on by figuring out who it is that we want to become. Number one, you need to decide, what are we going to filter in, right? What's the focus going to be? So if we want to get better at communication, so let's decide. And let's start then, what are books that we can go to? What are podcasts that we can go to? And start curating this library of content. Part of that is the feeding it daily, all right? Making sure there's a commitment every single day. But working with someone just last week when we were talking about their communication, and this one specific thing that we were working on would apply when they say would be right as part of chairing a meeting, right? And this person doesn't do a lot of that yet. And so, the algorithm then being, notice how other people do it. Every meeting is a learning opportunity. Notice what they do well and what could be improved. That's part of the algorithm now. You're now starting to feed that daily and you're noticing this is working. Oh, this isn't working as well. What could I do differently? What would I want to emulate there? Your brain starts picking up on all of these things. And then finally, which is the action, is reinforce it and apply it. And then you take that and do something with it. This, a friend of mine in Perth, who you and I've talked a little bit about, this group of daycares that he has. And, what he encourages his staff to do is 1% better. This week, what are you going to do 1% better this week, right? And really, smile, just smile at the people as they come in, or get down with the kids and connect, make the eye contact. That's part of now reinforcing, oh, look, they responded better to me when I did that. Okay, now if I do it, that creates this algorithm and this good reinforcement loop that we're going for. Do those make sense? Just very high level overview.
It does, but I have a question for you, Darren.
Yeah.
Should we also pay attention to what we want to leave out? What's out? What do you want to stop our algorithm from throwing our way? Is that something we can possibly do?
Very important. Absolutely critical. And depending on kind of where you're at, sometimes that's even more important because, it can be really hard to bring the intentional focus going forward in if it's being crowded out by those stopping things. So sometimes that means out of your feed, unsubscribing, right? Or deleting from certain feeds that are coming in. And that is certainly one of the questions we want to leave you with today. The assignment is not just deciding what to focus on, but it's also, what do we need to delete out? What do we need to stop focusing on? Yeah.
And just if I can just add a little bit onto that, the personal example of what to leave out is, part of my regime of kind of reinventing myself, which I started on about a decade ago, was removing toxicity from my life. And a lot of that meant knowing how to deal with individuals and people who had a toxic impact on me. And I had to be very intentional about either avoiding them or knowing what to do when I had to deal with them. But that, it just came to mind, Darren, but that has had such a huge impact on me, because that's my algorithm saying, I'm not going to pay attention to that anymore. Because as we know, there's a toxic person that says one thing to you and then you're ruminating on it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, right? And if we can start looking at what we feed ourselves through our algorithm very intentionally and what we leave out, can have a huge impact.
And so that's the assignment, if you will, or the opportunity this week for you, is to really think about what are those things that you want to bring in, take out, and
fantastic. Thanks, Darren. That's so insightful. I love that metaphor of the algorithm. So next week, our next episode, part 3 of our series on algorithms, is to do with teams. Yeah. So stay tuned. Please subscribe, and please share this with as many people as you can. We really want to get the sorts of things we talk about out to as many people, because if you think it's of value, please share it. See you next week.
Thank you for joining us.